went silent for.
Well,
shut up.
We're live. we were having some technical difficulties.
Mostly in talk.
You're having
Some preach.
Some technical difficulties. Huh?
That's fair.
Okay. But we're live. Welcome to Stasis Lock, episode 187, Shattercast UnNut. I am your host, the real Robert D. And joining me tonight is a wonderful panel of people. We got the standard six, as I call them. Mike, where can people find you at?
You can find me hiding toys.
All right. Brett, where can people find you at?
You can find me anywhere on Facebook as the second Toy Squirrel.
Ooh. Tyler, where can people find you? All right.
You can find me everywhere at T2 Selling Bricks.
T2 Selling Bricks. Goodness. Candace, where can people find you at?
You can find me Zombie Stores.
There you go.
Beast Wars.
Beast Stores.
Beast Wars.
Beast Wars. Don, where can people find you at, man?
I didn't have a clever name this week, as most weeks, so you can find me everywhere at Daltonian95, or everywhere at Daltonian CF's YouTube, Daltonian95, whatever. Still in the same breath.
Alternatively, you can find Nemesis Dalton at daltentacles.com.
God damn it.
Nemesis Dalton. Did you really secure that domain name?
No.
Oh. That would
Jed's about to secure it for you.
No, but Brian hit me up on the DMs. He did that.
All right. We got TM2DB in the chat. What's up? The artist formerly known as Kabar in the chat. Now Delirium 432. What's up, formerly Kabar? Jed in the chat. What's up, Jed? And man, speaking of Jed Vargo, real quick, I wanna plug his Cybertron Has Fallen. Is it or Cybertron Falls? I can't remember the name of it.
Cybertron Falls.
Yeah,
it's
Cybertron
Falls.
Falls.
Other dudes working on this awesome project, butt naked, by the way, because it's so hot. Things are heating up in the United States. If you know what I'm saying. And he was also the voice of Starscream in that little motion picture.
I've never undressed Jed physically, but I have undressed him with my eyes. So.
Don't make him blush now.
If you have not seen it, I would recommend you check it out. It was done very well, in my opinion, and it's definitely worth a watch. Like there had to, I don't know how many hours went into that, but it looked like there was a bunch of hours that went into it. So,
and I mean, even if you watch it and you're thinking, this could be a little bit better. You know what else could be a little bit better? That Transformers Prime Galvatron's Revenge fan film that still hasn't seen the light of day after 5 years and multiple calendar sales for no progress. These guys slapped this shit together so fast. Jed is so talented. I want him in my belly.
Remember, it's 3 people that did this. Like, it wasn't a studio. It wasn't 300. Exactly it was 3 dudes that put this together, and it still turned out like acceptable. Let's put it that way. It's definitely more than
fan
acceptable.
film. It is 1000% like remarkable. It's like spectacular for just like 4 fans of the franchise. And I can make direct comparisons because it's not like anyone's gonna cancel me over that shit. So fuck them.
I need to check that out.
We got bricks on the dollar in the chat. My word.
Came out of his head.
It's the ghost from Stasis Past.
The ghost from Stasis Past. All right.
He finally got the internet at Warminster.
Delirium says it sounds like where Prime goes to kiss Alita 1. Goodness. All right. TM2DB, haven't slept in 36 hours? Damn.
Them rookie numbers, son. Get them numbers up.
Well, as a father, you should be used to it, Tyler.
Damn right.
Hey, so Mike, unmute. What'd you get?
I got Star Convoy. That's it.
Oh, very good. You sure that's it? Because I'm moving on.
Yep.
Brett, what'd you get?
Fucking dog.
There you go. All right. So today was my first venture outwards to go and actually get food at an establishment, which was fun.
Oh.
And actually actually, the comic shop was open, and I picked up, because I hadn't seen it before, IDW Transformers Power of the Predacons 100-page giant, which actually is...
Oh, I remember that. That came out.
3, 4... It's 5 different books put together. So it's like a conglomeration of 5 comics.
Yeah, it's got one from like the Gathering / Ascending. It has
got,
a couple of the
Spotlight Jazz, Dawn of the Predicus, the Gathering, #1, What's in a Name, and Grudge Match. And I love the cover because it has that here, I'll pop a picture real quick.
I was gonna say it's the same cover that they used for, I think that was the Ascending.
Yeah,
or the Gathering #1. I can't remember, but they didn't even give us a new cover. I had an issue with that. I didn't pick it up because like nothing new went into it.
Well, I had very issues. So I thought, this would be a good idea to pick up and kind of neat.
It kind of ties into one of our topics, or our one topic.
Well, I haven't read it yet, so don't spoil it. But anyway.
Well, there's nothing new. There's nothing.
I know.
There's nothing new.
The point.
Well,
being, that was literally the only thing that I've bought recently. So
yeah. So, all right. Tyler almost called you trash.
Okay, you can call me.
The funniest slip I've ever heard of one.
All I did was I looked down and I saw trash. All right, trash. What'd you get this week?
okay.
Not much. Just like some Warhammer stuff. I went ahead and bought another Start Collecting box because it's cheaper to buy the collection than it is to buy the units individually. So that's about it. I got some more paints and stuff too, but nothing Transformers related. That's probably going to be a theme until Tiger Shrine comes out, to be honest. unless you're going to ship my package any day now. So
I can't find a box big enough, so it may have to go in 2 boxes.
Wow,
man, I almost wanted to hit you up and be like, you want to just hold off on shipping? Because like, I don't want that shit to get here and be steaming. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's probably fair too. I know it has to go through Miami, so.
Well, okay. Scale of 1 to 10. How crispy is Miami right now?
I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest.
Look, man. Speaking of that, I sold a few things. I sold some Beast Machines, Dinobots, and one of the packages I sent out had to go right to Minneapolis. I always do that. Minneapolis.
Minneapolis?
Yeah, I get Minneapolis and Indiana mixed up all the time.
I just figured you say Illinois too, don't you?
No, but I do call it Arkansas.
But that's fair. I mean,
anyway, yeah. So I sent this package out. I hit him up with shipping, and he hits me up a few days later. He's like, "Man, I'm about to cry." And I was like, "Oh fuck, what the post office do now?" And he sends me a picture of the tracking of the website, and I was like, "Yeah, what's the problem?" And he's like, "Look again. Look at where it is." And I look, and it's like Minneapolis. And I look at the TV. Minneapolis is on fire. Man, I'm so sorry. He goes, "I'm not going to ask for a refund because, like, it's my country, my problems." And I was like, "Man, I appreciate that." Like, I would have, even if something happened to it, I would have given him a half a refund anyway, just because, like, that's really shitty, and it's not his fault either.
So when I send stuff out, I usually like make sure the box, like the inside, the toy is wrapped in like a baggie or whatever for rain or whatever. So I guess from now on we have to do like asbestos coating or something for fires and all this.
Well, like here's the thing. Here's the thing. If the box is even like slightly so okay, I've been refraining from talking about this because it makes me big sad. But I traded something worth significant value and paid money of significant value to a friend in Canada for a 2008 Bicon set, the full set. And either the day of or the day after he dropped it off at the post office, the entire town flooded.
Nikes.
And
Jesus.
The box is lost. He was told it went to a restoration company or like an outside warehouse for Canada Post. The dude's been on the agent as hell for like the last month trying to figure out where this box is and that he wants the stuff back, or he wants it to be sent. He don't even because I even told him, I was like, look, dude, even if the paperwork gets wet, the toys are going to be fine. There's an empty box on eBay.
Right.
We'll work something out for the box and stuff like that way.
In other words, it's not a total loss. Exactly.
Right. However, because it went to this insurance company or restoration company or whatever, they would deem it either salvageable or junk. Now, there were two other large boxes that he dropped off that were going to a different country. One of those boxes made it, but the other one did not, and mine did not, obviously. So, he got in contact with the restoration company, and they're like, we have no idea what you're talking about. We didn't get anything. All those boxes were loaded up on a C-Post truck and taken somewhere else. So he was able to get in contact with the guy locally. So, because he asked me, he goes, dude, how much money did you send me again? And I told him, and he was just like, Jesus. I was like, look, dude, I really don't want the money back. I want the toys. I've already parted ways with that money. I want the toy. If there's any way I can get the toys, I want the toys. And I was like, just hold off. I said, find out what you can try to find out from this person. I'll give it 2 or 3 more weeks, and he can keep the thing that I sent him. And he can just, refund me the money, and I think that was a fair deal, because what I sent him was probably almost equal to what I paid him in cash. So, anyways, it's just an ordeal. But those insurance or restoration companies, they're the ones that'll fuck it up. It's not, it wouldn't be any kind of actual damage to what's inside the box. It's just, a company that gets paid a certain amount to write certain stuff off as a loss.
Right. And also remember, as much as I don't care for the post office.
Real quick, Tyler's back.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And not that I, really have a lot of love for them, but I mean, they're relying on this company to give them, truthful response if something's, damaged or, a loss or whatever. And when you leave that in a company that has no idea what collectibles are about, that's where you run into the problem you are. They just look at it as a toy with damage. We'll just throw that in the junk pile.
Yeah. Or, even worse, it's someone that actually does know and considers it a loss.
And swipes it. Exactly.
Yeah. Now, I promise you, if I see a full 2008 set go up for sale coming out of Ontario with plane flights as cheap as they are right now, I will bring a piece of freedom
with a little water damage.
Yeah, with
Wait a minute, the guy you bought it from was from Canada or from Ontario?
No, he's not from Ontario, but the money, the stuff supposedly got sent to Ontario. Supposedly,
what the fuck did he send here?
The
post office.
I don't know. That's where the restoration company.
That could be,
yeah. They just said that's where the restoration company was.
So they outsourced outside the United States.
It's like beach volleyball. They're like, no, don't get the ball wet. Boom.
Right.
Yeah. So anyways, but like I said, man, he's gonna talk to a guy that he knows that works for the post office to get an exact line. He was just like, I will go to his house. I was like, yeah, dude, because I would like to get the stuff,
We ain't talking about $20 here.
Yeah.
The dude that I sold stuff to, he sent me a picture when the package arrived. He sent me a picture of the box, and then he paired it with a picture of the post office, and the post office was just in cinders. You can actually see the picture on the Beast Wars Society group. He posted it there.
I wonder if they if they kind of preemptively did not send it through that particular post office.
Maybe. I know he was saying that they must have put it on the truck the day before the riots. So
yeah, would have had to. I'm surprised the truck actually ran.
Yeah,
it's but whatever. So, anyways, Candace, did you get anything this week?
I did not.
No.
I know. I'm still waiting on crap. It's ridiculous. I know. Feel bad for me. Feel sad. Sad panda.
Dalton, did you get anything this week?
I did. I got an Earthrise Prime, and I'm waiting on something from Canada. It just got to Chicago
Oh,
Man,
maybe yours got tossed in the river too.
So
You're
listen,
welcome.
Oh, it's in
Otherwise-
Chicago? Oh shit.
listen to this. Okay, so
No, it's not Bach.
Is it the second most expensive BotCon set?
No, it's not.
Bro,
I'm not
after-
saying. I'm just saying.
after this dude from Minneapolis hits me up about his package and everything, I look at the news and Denver, Colorado is rioting, setting their shit on fire. And I was like, oh no, Dalton! Like everywhere I sent a package is just going up in flames.
No,
Dude,
No,
my
uh,
luck,
the one I got from you has just been sitting in Ontario for like a week.
Really?
my luck is my buddy's gonna find that box. He's gonna send it out, and the day it gets here, that's when the shit's gonna hit the fan here. I'm just gonna be like, nope. I'm just gonna go up to the post office.
You'll get it all the way to your city and then burn.
If I have to walk into a burning building to get it, like, I'll do it.
Sir, the building's on fire. My toys are in there.
I'll just dump a bunch of buckets of water on my head. Like, all right, I'm going in, chief. Like, just whenever you feel this rope tug, pull me back. I go in because rope burns. It's just gonna go limp. Well, that's a lost dog. Just wrap a water hose around my waist. Be like, if you feel this water hose, just
So here's
tug
the
a few
difference.
times. Pull me.
Here's
That's a lot of rope.
Here's the difference. Instead of your toys getting ground up and buried with you, they'll just be burned.
Yeah,
I'm
I
buried
mean,
with
it's going to be the end result either way. So
Sure.
Put them in the cremator.
There you go.
yeah. Well, I did say I wanted them all melted down. So
There you go.
So I just want to point this out. Dakota has expressed that he is going to leave his house to go find these figures in Ontario.
Whoa.
So during that time, if you want to take his burial plot, being the plastic that is residing around him in his room, he will be vacant from this date to this date. And you will have full reign because his mom still doesn't give a shit because his Gundams are in the China cabinet.
how would you like?
The China's in the Gundam cabinet.
Yeah, that's right. My mom's damn China. And the gun. So I get disrespected left and right from that woman, and I'm tired of it.
Next thing you know, he beats the mic. I love you, Mom.
Just well, she's not here right now. That's why I'm talking all this shit.
Oh,
That's what I was
right.
thinking.
What you
Otherwise,
say, fat boy?
otherwise she'd be hosting.
No, like I told her about it. I told her like what went on, and I was just like, yeah, my mom's really shitty too. She won't take her damn China out of this cabinet for my Gundams. While everyone's talking about
over your head.
while everyone's talking about their moms like giving them like cigar charges, when they were like 3. She was like Jesus. I was like, yeah, I
That's a
know.
true story. My mom used me as an ashtray a couple times.
Yeah. Who can say where the road goes?
Where your mama goes, only cops.
All right, so I got, thank you all for asking, the Marvel Legends Stan Lee this week. So I'm really hoping I can get him to sign it one day.
Good luck.
Oh, is that too soon? Okay. Brett, I'm glad you hopped right on top
Wow.
of that.
Too soon.
Is it really? I felt like that's in good. That was a good
It's
take.
good
Crimson
taste. It's
Raptors
okay.
in the chat says,
Yes.
God darn China Baskins.
China Baskins.
That's good.
All right, we got Ghost Lord Peter in the chat. I see we got. I saw someone say we got Brother Kyle in the chat. I don't see Brother Kyle, but I trust. Jed Vargo says he's there. I gotta scroll. I got a bunch of scrolling to do.
Scroll.
Yeah, there he is. There he is. All right, just had to check you there, Brother Kyle. All right, so tonight is episode review night. What episode is it, Dalton?
It's season 2, episode 12, Endgame Part 2.
Are you saying that because that's what I thought it was, or are you saying that that's because what it is?
It is Endgame Part 2, but it's got to be episode 12 because there's only 13 episodes in each season.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure I'm the only person who took notes. Thanks, everybody.
How are
Well,
you?
this is-
I was just
How
about
are
to give
you
up on it,
sure
too.
that-
Everybody chimes in.
No. How are you sure of that?
Huh?
How are you sure of that?
It's just how it's been the past couple of months.
I mean,
Bro.
This segment's pretty much been unofficially redubbed as Dalton's Corner. So
people,
I mean, Dalton, you have no idea if I took notes or not.
people toss it at Dalton all day, but as soon as Dalton tosses literally the thinnest amount of shade, everyone's just like, "Well, no, I'm offended."
I never said I was offended. I asked him to explain to me why he thought that. And how do you know I don't have notes?
Because you were out eating.
Jesus Christ.
No, come on, Dalton. Let me hear it.
I mean, just like I said, it's usually the case.
Okay, you're right. Go ahead.
This is like an argument between a dad and his son.
Dalton's
The son
just like
says,
history
I mow
don't
the
lie.
lawn every day,
Now,
Dad.
listen,
I'm not
Dalton,
mowing it
listen,
today.
We're just giving our viewers some fan service, which is kind of what my first note is. Megatron giving that yes as fan service, looking straight at the camera.
Is this how this going to start?
No, we starting strong, son. Keep it
Well,
going.
here's another one. We got some. I got a heavy hunter killer from Terminator vibe with the drones just flying around the ship.
Almost there, Dalton.
Do you
Womp womp.
Do you know what the hunter killers are?
From that note, do you?
I don't know what the hunter killers are.
They're the VTOL Terminator units.
Oh, the Obsidians?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just the vibe I'm getting from them flying around with their searchlights. Is the beginning of Judgment Day.
Was that number 2 or number 3?
Those two.
It's the end, right?
With this whole thing with Primal speaking to the Oracle again, what we don't see is him taking a huge hit of whatever he's smoking while zooming into his eye.
Or Primal just Buffalo soldier.
Primal got that blueberry,
so-
yum yum.
I'm not understanding this whole like minor reformatting thing that's going on. Are the sparks actually assisting them? Do they have extra sparks with them? It's very confusing. They just all of a sudden have exposed sparks. I just don't get it. And Primal keeps saying, for the Matrix, for the Matrix. Speaking of it, where is it? You'd think it'd be very helpful to use right now.
Only the darkest hour.
Doesn't Rodimus have it still?
Or
wherever he's at.
Question. Who would have it? Do you think it would be like locked up in a vault or something? Because
they're back to present day, right? So who did
right? But Rodimus
because
would have given it to Prime, but there was a statue of Prime, meaning Prime died again at some point. So
would it still be with Alpha Trion again, or
maybe they buried it with Prime?
Oh, just weird. Fucking another weird thing is the tanks exploding into pixels when they get hit with those little plant grenades. I still find that funny that the explosions are just reduced to little pixels flying around.
Two-dimensional pixels.
Yeah. And I could not stop laughing when I saw the Maximals doing all those weird poses when they activate their little Matrix powers. Just complete silence besides the music, doing these weird like Power Rangers, like Matrix poses. It is ridiculous. And are Obsidian and Strika dead now? They just got launched into space and not even moving or anything, they're just floating.
Well, they can survive in space.
Well, it's just the way they framed that scene, though, of them just floating there. It seemed like they were offline.
We should ask Jed if they can breathe in space and why they have to breathe. Jed's in the chat. You guys should ask him.
That's fucking hilarious.
What the fuck? Why do the robots breathe? That's so dumb.
Actually,
Thrust bringing in some references to other shows, calling Cheetor a putty tat. And Cheetor really is kind of an idiot, assuming that Primal is back just because he sees his old body. It's like, why would Primal go back to that?
Well, it was a nice body. Why are you body shaming his old body?
I'm not body shaming. I'm Cheetor shaming.
Why would Primal go back to that?
No, I Jesus Christ. That's my last note.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it legit is.
Okay. All right.
Because I did this last minute, like right before I jumped back on.
That's fine. We appreciate you for doing it. It is definitely my favorite bi-weekly segment or bi-monthly segment. Bi-monthly segment. Yeah, because we do it twice. It doesn't matter. So, moving right along. Did I go too far? Maybe not. Okay. Before we get into the news, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at StasisLockPodcast, Facebook.com/BeastWars, Twitter.com/StasisLockCast. You can email us at StasisLockPodcast@gmail.com. And also, if you're not subscribed to us already on YouTube, you can do so at YouTube.com/StasisLock. And don't forget to join our Facebook group, Beast Wars Society. It's a buy, sell, trade, and discussion group. And it's pretty fun. Please post about Beast Wars in there. It's kind of in the name. Definitely appreciate it if you post Beast Wars content in a Beast Wars group.
No, I'm going to post my
G1
figures to show you how cool they really are.
What the
Why can't we
hell,
post
Mike?
G1 or animated stuff? Where does it say you can only post Beast Wars?
In the name Beast Wars.
The Beast Wars Society.
That's a throwback if anyone comes to it.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for Candace to just chime in. Beast Wars.
Beast Wars.
Beast Wars.
So yeah, we want y'all in there. We just want y'all talking about the Beast era. So Beast Machines is fine. Beast Wars. Beast Machines is still fine.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, Dakota's really the only one who likes it.
We'll start a spin-off group called the Beast Machine Society. It's gonna have it's just gonna be me in
Gonna
there.
have Dakota, and that's it.
It's just gonna be me. Yeah.
Dakota and his mom.
Like, yeah. Go to get her damn china off my Beast Machines cabinet.
Well, I want to see a video when you tell your mama to get her china out of her cabinet for your Gundams.
Out of my cabinet. It's my cabinet.
Yeah, okay.
She was asking me.
She
was asking me how I could sell it. I was like, Mom, I don't know anything about China except it's a country. So I don't really know how to sell plates that are named after this country. Plates and glasses. So
Dakota, do they do the old house shoe flip flop smack, or do they go out and get a switch?
I grew up with a belt.
The belt. Oh yes, the ever purpose.
And it's like it wasn't even a belt. It wasn't even a belt that she wore. It was just a belt she had specifically for Pankins.
Did it have one of those big old Texan belt buckles on it?
It wasn't a Texas size, but it had a rather large, at least at the time. It's been a long time since I've laid eyes on it. It's probably because I threw it away.
Traumatic.
But it had a big silver buckle, but it wasn't like one of those big like the shape of buckles. We're from Louisiana. We have a little bit of class, and but she never hit me with the buckle. You know, it was always just the leather, and never like on my face or anything. It was usually on my hind end. Someone know what a hind end is?
Sometimes a little lower to hit your leg and like, ow! Yeah.
Every now and again, I'd get it back there on that tender calf, but
and then sometimes the lower back. Yeah, that's not good.
Or sometimes the back of the hand.
I've always had a pretty large rear end, so
I don't believe you were. I thought you were disowned when you were like 5.
Who, me?
Oh.
Yeah, man, my mom's the worst too. Sometimes she gets me the spicy chicken instead of the homestyle chicken at Mendy.
That's just wrong.
And it burns my mouth, and I feel like she does it on purpose.
Wrong.
Man, spicy's the only way to go. It's actually child abuse if you don't get spicy down here.
I believe that.
You mean to tell me I got to eat this chicken without hot sauce? I don't think so.
That's why Kevin Gates spits so much fire.
I call CPS if I don't have hot sauce with my fried chicken.
Justifiable.
But but no, like, to be fair, in no way do I think I was ever abused as a child, because I was not. But yeah, I was definitely in the belt country. Now, whenever I was in elementary school, the principal. The principal did paddle me, and I was not a fan of that shit at all. That's a whole new world of hurt. And he even told me there's a Bible verse that was etched into it, and it had holes drilled into it so the wind could pass through it a lot, with ease.
I'd like to see that's the same as what up here we had, so that's good. I think it's all right.
He was an old man with very bad rheumatoid arthritis, and I said, certainly this won't hurt. But the fact that those holes were drilled in that paddle meant that it was effortless on his poor old decrepit joints.
See, we had the misfortune of the year that I got paddled. We had a new principal, very young, very spry, and played baseball. So, I mean, it was just, just not good all the way around.
This man said, I got spanked by a man who was very athletic, very handsome, young and spry.
Yeah, the difference is that you paid for that. So I mean, there's
super flexible. He had a reach.
Brett was like, and I had a BDSM phase.
I mean,
So yeah, man, I had that paddling one time. I never messed up bad enough for that to happen ever again. Because after that, the pankins at home wasn't nothing. So
it does help for that pain tolerance. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it really does. Also makes you into some weird stuff when you're an adult. But
speaking of being abused as a child, did anybody ever try and laugh as they were getting spanked to try and deter their parents from doing it?
No, I think because I would always try to be like, you're not gonna do that, and then she get the belt. And I'm like, no, I was just kidding. She was like, no, it's already in my hands now. And I'm like, shit.
See, I can't see doing that. If my dad hit me and I laughed, I think he would just get a hammer. So it's like, all right, we'll do this then. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it always backfired on me too.
Yeah, mom, whether it hurt or not, you were just like, oh my god, like you were being killed.
When my mom was growing up, she got the switch treatment. And she remembered how bad it hurt. She was like, I'd never make my kid go pick the switch or anything like that, because that's some real stuff.
My grandmother did the switch thing, and I actually got hit once, and she was fairly old, so it didn't really hurt. But of course, yes, it hurt tremendously. So you gotta do that fake in so you don't get it again. So.
Yeah, now I grew up with my grandmother and my mother, and I watched my grandmother backhand her brother, who was built like me now as an adult, clean out of a chair, and that I never him on any shit.
That's called grandma strength.
Grandma just backhanding people through windows and shit. Grandma, this shit's undercooked. Boom!
It was rolling chairs too, so it was a chair that had a pretty stern foundation, but he was just leaning back in it talking shit, and she just and knocked him clean backwards, son. I would never I was, even though grandma's cooking was a little bland, I never said nothing about it. I was like, this is just really good.
You were just like, all right then, that's the way it is.
I'd rather salt and pepper on my steak than blood.
Yeah,
right.
So
this reminds me of that video, the guy Larry slapping everyone, even the cops.
Oh, the little family reunion thing that picked
yeah.
So, all right, now that we're done talking about our childhood traumas.
Well, some of us were just doing YouTube videos.
So what?
Shots fired.
Oh yeah. Someone got it.
I didn't get it. On to the news. Here, Stasis Lock Photo Op. Bring your masterpiece cheat order to Pizza Robocon, July 24th to 25th, 2020 in Louisville, Kentucky for epic and gyroscopic gathering of the most open cheaters in one location.
Got it through that time. Good.
Yeah, sure did. I'm getting used to the July 24th to 25th part.
Hoorah.
So, and Mike, you got a shindig happening in a week and a half, don't you?
Yeah.
Don't talk
All
about
right then. All right then.
Just it's in Arkansas. Okay, nothing else.
He didn't pay this week.
Yeah.
Well,
this weekend. Next
$20.
weekend.
Tell y'all, it's not this weekend. It's next weekend.
Yeah, next weekend.
Or is it this weekend?
No, it's next weekend.
June. What are the dates?
June 13th, 14th. Bid Event Center. You can find all the information on SlingCountyComicExpo.com.
Very awesome. I'm going to do my level best to make it out. A lot of things going to be determined on hectic work may or may not be after we open. But if anyone's in the area and wants to hang out and meet up, I'll bring some cool stuff to that one as well.
I mean,
I typically
you think if you only got 5 people coming to the slots, it shouldn't be too busy.
Oh yeah. Well, I think we're going to be able to work with 11, but they're not giving me my full bank. So yeah, we'll see.
Big spenders.
Big spend. Well, some of them can be. There's a lady that can go through my bank's worth in a whole day. So, all right. We kind of talked about this a little bit last week. I didn't show it off because I figured since it had already all been seen before, I didn't know how newsworthy it was. However, I guess these are what the production boards, or pre-production boards for Transtech Silverbolt. For anyone who doesn't know, Transtech was supposed to be the series that was going to come after Beast Machines, yada yada yada. But these are up on eBay right now. And last week, this one in particular, I think, was $1,000. This week, it is $1,499. So the price went up, and nobody's buying it still. So, but we did talk about them. It's neat. It's definitely a neat piece of history to have. It's a more well-known character, I guess, than some of the other stuff that was let go back in the day for some of the Transtech stuff. But it's awesome. It's just a little too rich for my blood, so it is what it is. But it's neat. So link is in the description.
Buy that thing for like $1.
Well, I don't know if there's a best offer option on it or not, but the link's in the description. So there's that. From the same seller, a piece of BotCon 2000 original artwork from the comic that year. And I think they ended up changing the colors for actual print. So this one has different colors. I'm not mistaken. It's been a minute since I've had that comic book out to look it over. But I do believe these are not final colors. Last week, it was $1,499. This week, it is $2,499.
I don't think this guy has the concept of eBay. He hasn't quite figured it out.
Do you know who's selling it?
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to ask.
You didn't have to say that.
I wasn't sure, man. Like I wasn't sure, but this is an awesome piece of history. I would love to own this, but
should have bought it last week.
I should have bought it. Like I'm a level with everybody. Like if I didn't buy it for what it was, I don't think anybody else is going to buy it for what it was. Now I'd probably give the best offer on it, I feel. But goodness gracious. So anyways, link to this auction is also in the description for any of our audio listeners who are listening to it that want to check out what exactly we're talking about. And maybe you haven't seen it yet and you got the bankroll for it.
So. Maybe have a good laugh.
I mean, I don't know. I think once I see the or best offer thing come up, maybe it's already there. I'll give it a real quick check. I might be more inclined to no best offer. So
yeah.
Well, Candace, Peter in the chat, if you're listening, if you want to make the big bucks like this fine fellow, just draw a fan fiction.
Yeah.
And then the following week, raise it up.
Yeah, by $1,000.
That's where it's at. All right, get into some news that dropped while we were live last week, so we weren't able to pick it up. I do not believe this is photoshopped. I think this is the real deal, but this looks like they are going to chrome the pieces on the Transart Toys Skateboard Gorilla. I think I called it Surfboard Gorilla in the description, but whatever. Masterpiece Transmetal Primal.
I mean, that's more accurate.
I don't like the chrome, man.
No. I mean what you were calling it, Surfboard Gorilla.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's got little wheels on the bottom, so
I like it.
I wanted the high gloss metallic paint.
Well, depends on how they do it. If it's durable and it lasts, then this is fine.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, go ahead, Brett.
I just don't know because think about all the other times. Of course, that's older technology, older, the way they painted and all that. But we just haven't seen a good track record of this, this chrome. But hopefully they fixed it.
I think at least the blue chrome, the blue was one of those colors, with the exception of Shockerakt, literally the most expensive blue chrome boy, where it didn't have any flaky issues or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But I don't think I've ever seen any of the Transmetal Primals that have flaked to high heavens.
Yeah, but the point being is if you didn't see it flaking, it looked good.
Yeah.
At least they're trying to do that. It's just hopefully they fix the problem.
So I think this looks awesome.
Exactly. Yeah.
I feel like this is a more muted chrome, and I kind of prefer it more because you get to see, like with chrome, it's really busy because of how reflective it is,
mm-hmm.
and with this being a little more muted, you're able to see a lot more definition in the sculpt than you would from. You know what I mean? Like the original. So
this is definitely more of a durability worry over aesthetics because it definitely looks better.
I can see. Let's see. This looks like maybe a picture frame, possibly a shelving unit. Maybe that's a wall-mounted TV. There's the lights in the ceiling. This looks like the head of the photographer. I'm nitpicking it because I wanted it to be paint, but ultimately, I'm still going to pick it up. It's not.
Yeah, but the reason that you wanted paint is more for durability than aesthetics.
Right.
If they can do the aesthetics with the durability, this is perfect.
I can agree with that.
But we're not going to know until time.
I do have a question. What are these two pieces? Because this is obviously the chest. These are the robot feet, the heads. And it looks like this is something that's going to be able to swivel, so you can go from chrome to the more kind of brown, organic look that's possibly going to be on the bottom.
The one that could be to the right or to the left down. Is that the back of the head?
That's what I was thinking.
Either that or it might be the back of the. Oh yeah, that looks more like the back of the head, but like the one to the right of that.
That one.
It looks like it could be part of a crotch piece.
Would they chrome that though?
I don't think
so.
No,
it wasn't chromed.
Yeah,
it was brown.
No, it was brown. The only chrome was the forearms weren't, were they?
No,
they were
on the whatever the lucky draw one, they chromed the forearms from the arms.
It was the head, chest, gorilla feet. I think that was it.
Yeah, that was it. So that's why this being chrome and
what's the big piece over on the left?
This is okay. So this is where the head's gonna sit. That's like where the shoulder line is.
Okay, I got that. And then next to what we think is the back of the head, that other piece we don't know what that is.
Yeah, this we're not 100% sure.
We'll find out in 2 months.
Yeah, I think so. I thought it was supposed to start shipping in June, but so you see this piece. Pre-orders. This piece sits in the chest piece right here. This one on the far left. So it sits right there, and it looks like it would flip and rotate to give you this aesthetic. Because I think it's a completely independent piece of this robot mode chest. They had to use the derpy face, but.
Sorry.
What to keep going?
So the shoulder pads is connected to the back piece, which was that gray plastic.
Right.
Okay, so it wouldn't be that. The legs and the crotch and all that were gray or were brown. They wouldn't be chrome.
Do you think this is like a middle piece for the head?
Like there's two pieces for it?
You're right. So there would be three altogether. So you'd have back of the head, center. That because it looks like maybe the centerpiece is going to have the eyes, because you see these eyes are white here, but nothing else. I don't think anything else is really painted on this.
That piece is too big to be a headpiece. That thing in between there.
Look at the shape. Look at the shape. The shape is very similar. That's why I didn't know if maybe it was like the side of the head, like we see right here. We're doing some hardcore brinkalizing tonight, folks.
Bro, what if JX just bought out Transart?
Interesting.
I don't know why I was just
What if JX was Transart the whole time?
Yeah, Brett. So I think this is going to be the ears of the monkey head, and I think this is the back, and then the front just snaps on.
So that's more of an innard piece for the front and the back to snap together.
Right. That's what I'm thinking.
I don't know. That just seems awful big.
Yeah, but again, it's gonna be the ears. So you see how the head doesn't lay flush over this piece right here, and you see those those extruding pieces look very similar to these little ends right here, these little humps.
I wonder if the white where the eyes are is going to be like almost like just drilled out holes, and they're gonna put light piping or something in the faces.
I don't think they'll put light piping. I think they'll just do paint, like most toys that have painted eyes are, because it's especially from that era. That was just a separate piece that had the eyes in there, and they would slot the eye holes over it.
So definitely the neck piece that we were looking at, you could see the ridges on this picture here match up with that one. So that's definitely 100% the swivel portion of the neck that flips around. So I would say, seeing that there can't be anything else, that has to be the inner piece with the ears that you were talking about. And maybe it sits straight up and down, and that's why it looks so big.
Right. So like this piece would go over it, just the way they're laying. You set that on top of that, and then the face would go on the
It's kind of hard to visualize this way, but after seeing that, it makes more sense. So you just have the head, the neck, the chest, and the two the feet.
Yeah. Hey, Candace, have you worked on getting us prototypes yet? I said us.
Oh, sorry.
Jeez.
She was like, "No, I got mine."
She did very, very quickly laugh at you.
Why do I? How do I have the power to find these or acquire them?
I think you'd have better luck than me. Every time I ask for prototypes, they turn the blind eye. They're just like, nope, falls on deaf ears.
Baloney. I don't have. You have because you already have all of them.
I don't. I'm so mistreated. I don't have any prototypes.
TM2DB makes a good point. Maybe it's a neck extension for him to walk on 4 legs.
Oh, and you could
I guess walk on all 4. Doesn't have 4 legs. Idiot.
I
don't know, because that whole neck joint right there has a pivot. So you would just pivot the whole head. See what I'm saying?
Well, okay, so it looks like there's a hole here, and I'm guessing there's a peg behind this like kind of wall piece, and maybe that would act as a means of.
And the reason you don't see it there is that pin doesn't have to be chromed, so it would be on a separate section that goes through, holds it together. But if you look on the sides of that neck piece, there's a I don't know how to say it, so you could pivot it. So you would tilt it, and then he would have that same, being able to look forward.
Oh, okay, yeah, with these little mushroom pegs here.
Correct.
I gotcha. I just assumed that was for transformation.
Yeah, but you could also use it for the 4, down on all 4s looking.
Maybe.
I wonder. Maybe it's I don't know. That might be dumb, but like maybe it's a piece that goes in the torso for like an ab crunch, so it doesn't break up the sculpt.
Maybe. But
that actually makes sense too.
Does it make sense why it would be completely chrome though?
Yeah.
Because if you extend the chest out, you would see that portion, and you want it to be the same color. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
So that would make sense.
But keep the connections unpainted or unchromed so that way it's not flaking everywhere on the inside.
Now you're thinking too much.
I mean, that dude at the same time, it's like, I really don't want that chrome rubbing chrome.
Right, but then you'd have the same person going, man, it just breaks up the whole sculpt. I don't understand why they didn't do it.
I'm fine without an ab crunch, to be honest. I know I'm probably in the minority.
For this mold, I think it'd be fine without it.
Yeah, I think it's all going to be. I think it's all going to be fine.
I'm not big on the third party, but I actually am really looking forward to this one. I like this one.
I want an Ape Link, man. I want them to make Ape Link. I want it to be announced like immediately.
I know. Here comes. Oh my god!
Get the showcast first. Jeez.
I know, but especially with like how cheap this is going to be, like, man, give me that Ape Link.
How much is it again? $90?
He was my favorite exclusive from back then, or my favorite character. My favorite exclusive is always going to be that 2001 Tigatron, I think. But I really liked Ape Link, so I want it.
That's true. We can't get the sweet pelvic thrust without it. You have to have that.
That hero pose.
You got to have that. That's so sweet.
Just reminds me of all the poses with the animated figure characters.
Just remember, if you didn't have a pelvic thrust, you had a pack of cigarettes to show you how big it was.
Or you had someone with their crack cocaine pinky nail.
Yeah, but everyone kept saying, "Is that guy a midget? We don't know how big he is."
So in this picture here, does that in the background look like an alternate face?
So yes, because if you can see, it looks like
it's blurry.
This whole front part of the face comes off, like at all but where like the head crest is. You see, it's two different pieces.
Yeah,
like right in here. But I think that may be, like I said, they went with the derpy face, and the lighting is bad, and it doesn't look like the eye is lining up in the hole.
Hey, this is our make toys downbeat face.
That there looks really bad. I mean,
I think this is suffering from the fans' toys syndrome, where it's just a bad picture, bad lighting, and it's not doing it justice.
Oh, you're fans' toys apologist?
Tyler? I'll say it again: when you get an intern to do everything, this is what you get.
I think this is just remember there was
the left leg falls off.
There was one derpy face and two good faces for all modes, for all three modes. Like this is one of the good faces. Let's see, good face, yeah, face. I do remember. I remember there being one goofy face and two good faces. So.
Peter, I'm sorry. Peter says that's actually my mom in the background judging me for liking toys, but I read it as judging me for liking boys. I don't know why I read it like that.
All right then.
I'm excited, man. I can't wait to see more of this. So, hopefully, pre-orders.
When does this one due out?
I think it was September, and pre-orders go up this month or next month.
There we go.
I can't remember.
Maybe, yeah.
Group buy.
This is it's going to be interesting with the state of the world because you got the virus that's really fucking shipping up out of China, and the fires, the concrete jungle wildfires in America right now.
Look, I'm gonna still be buying toys that don't really matter.
Here's what I think.
No. What I'm saying is though, like the shipping, like it's going to be interesting to see how they release this kind of stuff because like shipping's not only is it stupid expensive from China right now, but like if they ship it overseas and it makes it to America, then it's got to dip and dodge through all the fires and explosions.
Right.
It's going to be the most Michael Bay Transformer delivery you'll ever experience.
I can wait a couple more weeks, I guess I should say. Like, yeah, I'm no stranger to it.
I'm thinking we do a group buy, and that way when it all comes in, I figure Tyler will have his probably about this time next year.
Probably.
If I can find a box big enough to ship it in.
Because we got to find that box that's big enough.
I'm gonna be honest. Like this one, usually I would, probably buy this out of China for the discount rate. All things considered, like Tyler said, the state of the world. I think I'm gonna wait for stateside retailer to get it over here.
I agree. Yeah.
Even if I'm paying $20 or $30 more, like at that point, 20 or 30 ain't gonna kill me.
Has it really been that much of a difference in price?
Usually, yeah.
But I mean,
still, it's so cheap overall. That wouldn't be that bad.
Let me just take a number here.
All right, get used to it. I was used to it before, and
It's okay. It's okay. But like, not to mention, like in the way the world is right now, it's really important to shop local. It's really important to invest in your economy, and you know what I mean. Support businesses close to you. Be it, I guess in the States, you guys like you got Agabus, and you got all the other different retailers. But it's like it's important to support. In America, it's important to support American business. Up here, I've been looking for Canadian businesses to support for my hobbies and stuff. Like I've even looked at like ages 3 and up and other stores from Canada to get some of my stuff, and like even just paying the markup just because I want to support these guys so that they can make it through the pandemic. So like it is important to do that at a time like this. So I don't think that's a bad idea whatsoever to just wait it out and make sure it's local when you get it.
This brought to you by the supporters of those Tyler for president.
But I was gonna say
Sponsored by Canadian Tire.
That's right.
Between Agabus and Big Bad Toy Store, like I think everything is more or less covered, and like we just got to make sure like Wisconsin stays, like above ground.
Yeah, man, for real. I mean, Dakota, at this point, if I wait for this to ship to you, and I wait for that Scorponok, and who knows how many more Planet X, you might as well. It might just be cheaper for you to rent the truck and drive it up to me.
Just drive all your stuff up there. I was gonna say, dude, it'd probably be cheaper for me just to fly it all to you.
If you're gonna come up here anyway to get your package, like
plane tickets are cheap. I'll come with like my check bag full of your stuff, and I will leave with a check bag full of my stuff.
What? It's all toys, just like I came in.
Yeah,
that's fun.
They're the same. All right, our final piece of news, the thing that has me quite excited, is Beast Wars comics are coming in 2021. I probably could have worded that better. We're going to see Beast Wars comics in 2021 I believe it was John Barber on a stream for WonderCon. It was like a digital stream for WonderCon. He did announce that with Beast Wars having its 25th anniversary, we will see Beast Wars comics coming next year. So that leads us kind of into our topic of what do you think we're gonna be treated to as far as this Beast Wars story goes. It could be anything from a continuation of the Ascending and the Gathering. It could be totally new story. It could be a prequel. It could be a sequel. It could be something to tie into the show. It could be something that goes with whatever they're doing now. Like, what do you guys think it's gonna be? And I'm gonna hand this off to Mike. Who
can I suggest something?
What do you want to
hand
suggest?
it off to Candace, because every time we run through all this shit, she goes last and she's left with nothing to say. So let's do Candace first, and the rest of us talkative Tammys can go after.
All right, fair enough.
All right, that sounds fair.
I can do that.
Oh boy.
Big shoes to fill. Come on, Candace. You got it.
I know. I wasn't prepared. I was actually kind of thinking of like a prequel would be kind of nice. Do a little explaining here and there of how the show even started. I think I'd be happy with anything, to be honest. I'm not that picky. I'm just excited. I don't know. Beast Wars.
Beast Wars.
I was gonna say like,
or even something like between how Beast Wars ended and then Beast Machine. Something between there is a little better to tie in what the hell happened and.
Or a retcon.
I don't know.
Just retcon Beast Machines altogether. And don't get me wrong, I love Beast Machines.
Yeah, we can do that too. That works for me as well.
Yeah.
Just Thanos it, huh?
I felt like that was like one of the stronger points of the Ascending and the Gathering was that they took place kind of alongside the cartoon, and I think it was the Ascending part that ended with Megatron landing on Cybertron, and with the ominous to be continued there at the end. So
was the announcement for the Beast Wars comic, did that come after the IDW layoffs or before? I think it was
that
after,
was
wasn't it?
that was well after. It was a panel that they literally did, I think, over the weekend. Because I know Crimson Raptors just said, I highly doubt we'll see a Beast Wars comic, seeing as how IDW laid off a lot of their staff recently. Seems like that time.
What Crimson Raptors said, I like that idea too.
Side
Side story.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome too. The scripts out there that they can totally take and make a comic for, But so this was in a video interview that was live over the weekend for WonderCon. It was John Barber and it was someone else, and John Barber I think is now currently like the editor-in-chief. So I mean, he confirmed it.
How can I send my artwork in to try to finagle my way into this?
Send it into everybody.
I don't know. I've never done it before. I don't know what I'm doing.
Just I think I think you could probably email it into IDW. I think they have something like on their website.
Oh,
and IDW, anyone at IDW, if you're not listening and you don't put that artwork on a cover, I'm just gonna burn you down. So I'm not gonna commit arson. Right? I'm not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. It's the teacher. I will have strong words though. That I can assure.
He'll write a letter.
I'll write a very, very lettery letter.
Is it going to be like one of those ransom notes where you just cut out everything? And...
cereal box letters.
In the chat, Kabarium 432 says, honestly, if they don't use elements from the characters we know and love, it's going to be hard to get me on board.
I would prefer the characters that we know, but I'm also open to new characters and kind of using the toy characters we haven't been able to explore.
I agree. I think that'd be a dope idea.
Give us an iguana spotlight.
So that's and like that's another thing, man. Like I definitely want this to be like at least a 12 issue run. Something for one issue a month. Instead of like a 4-issue mini series or something like that. You know what I mean?
Do you think it would be that, or do you think it's going to be like a full fleshed out storyline? Maybe it's a comic to coincide with a show that they're planning. Maybe this is going to lead into the Netflix series, or
I think
whatever.
I think that at the very least it's going to be a 4-issue mini, but at the very most it would be a 12-issue thing. And if it proves to be popular and profitable enough, I think they will probably derail from the last few planned issues and go full force with it. I think that I think it's a lot of it's going to depend on the sales of those first like 3 or 4 issues.
Yeah.
So, I do want to. Looks like Mike dropped out. I want to ask Brett, what do you or Candace? Did you have anything else you wanted to add to it?
Oh no, you guys go for it. I want to hear what you think. Beast Wars.
Fair enough.
Beasties.
Brett, what do you think this is going to entail for us?
I don't know. I'd like to see it like Tyler said. I'd like to see it, every month getting another episode is another issue, as opposed just to a limited like the original was a limited 4. But I mean, you can tell how far back I am on comics. I just picked up the one you said has been out for a while, and I'd never read it, so I'm kind of behind on the comics.
That's fair. So, all right, Dalton, what about you, man?
I'm kind of hoping we get something new, that's what I'm thinking they're going to do, just like what we got with the Siege comic when they rebooted the IDW storyline. That's honestly what I think they're going to do. I would like to see, maybe a prequel or just something to tie in with the others. But I have a feeling that they're going to go with the reboot for the new toy line.
Yeah.
But I would definitely like to see it reach the 12 issue and then go off into its own thing.
Right. And see, I think that probably makes the most sense. But Tyler, what about you, man? What are your hopes for this?
Well, honestly, my hope is just that it's successful. I don't really care what it does. What I want out of this is it to be one of two ways and no in between. I don't want a foot in each bucket, so to speak. I want either if you're gonna add on to the original story of Beast Wars from 1996, then remain faithful and right around it, and don't mess with the fabric of what Beast Wars is. And alternatively, if you're going to do something new and something fresh, leave the old shit alone and just completely start from the ground up. I'm fine with a reboot, but don't bring in Dinobot and have him be like a shell of his old character. There's a reason people love the characters they love, and when you start messing with that, be it in in any form of media, when you start messing with the character that people know and love, that's when things turn to shit. It doesn't matter what kind of story you're telling, because how you're telling it isn't interesting. So I think you got to go one or the other. You got to be faithful to the cartoon, or completely left field of it, far away, don't touch it.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. Like, that's where for me, I really and truly, if they're gonna do that, yeah, I would want either or. Ultimately, I would prefer the thing that sets Beast Wars apart from everything else is that it hasn't been rebooted time after time, and it has such a rich story full of rich characters and plenty more characters that really and truthfully are untapped. I would really like to see the sequel to the Ascending finished. That kind of third set of issues that they were supposedly going to release, which I think would have made 12 issues total for that story arc. At the same time, I think that ship has long since sailed. So like, maybe not. As far as like the prequel goes, like, to me, we've already got that, and it's perfect as is. Seeing it revisited wouldn't necessarily upset me or anything, but we've already got it. So personally, I would like something that would be kind of like, I believe it was Crimson Raptors that said, like the Dark Glass episode, maybe just a series of various one-offs, or maybe 2 or 3 offs or whatever, that all take place within and around the continuity. I would really like that. I'd like to see a side story with the different characters, but not like the Ascending and the Gathering, where like they had to interact in a time displaced function within certain episodes around the main characters. Like, either include the main characters or don't include the main characters. Don't just stick them in there for a flyby,
Yeah.
But I feel like it is probably going to be something rebooted for whatever the toy line is going to be.
I think Tudor is going to be a mainstay. Because
Tudor is definitely going to be the Bumblebee for this.
Yeah, it's the Beast Wars Bumblebee.
And that's another thing, man. I really don't want it to take place in the current IDW universe. It has just been underwhelming. Granted, like there has been quite a large break, just due to unforeseen circumstances, and I'm still reading the books, and they did kind of start to pick back up. But I really hope it's separate from this new universe that they're building with the G1 characters or whatever. But I kind of feel like that day of extravagant IDW comic book universe days are probably over. We had a really good
multiverse.
I don't think it's going to be another multiverse. I think it's just going to be a series of reboots and re this and re that. I don't think we're going to see that long-term continuity that we had for the first decade of it.
So I have a question for the fans of BotCon. What if they do try and tie it to this show, but they ignore events that happened in BotCon? What if Hasbro themselves pulls a Disney and says, well, this extra literature, this extended universe no longer takes part, and they rewrite that? How would that affect you deciding on going in or staying away from this?
Well, you just said two different things. Which one? Are you talking about
Yeah.
BotCon or are you talking about Hasbro?
Hasbro's the one Hasbro's the one is the one commissioning this. What if they decide that they don't want to include the BotCon literature as canon? What if they say that's not canon, or even Gathering and Ascending, that's no longer canon, and they rewrite the extra literature for everything to go with the show and completely ignore what's already been done?
Hasbro's already conscious of the multiverse aspect of the brand. Like all those old club multiverse stories and setting up that multiverse, that was all done strictly through Hasbro, like with the Hasbro approval of the fact that, like, okay, this is a multiversal brand, and all these micro continuities and split continuities are a thing within the brand. So I don't see them even caring enough to acknowledge that. Like, they know that IDW is its own universe. They knew that this thing was its own universe and that thing was its own universe. It's really Takara that tried their level best to make sure everything tied together. And then again, through multiverse storytelling, the club did in the early 2000s. But
Okay.
it's like, I think if they did decide to, because like Dawn of the Predacus was headed up by IDW, and it was meant to be a prequel to Beast Wars. Which Dawn of Futures Past, which was headed up by Fun Publications, was also a more direct prequel to Beast Wars. It happened literally right before the opening scenes of the first show, or of the first episode. So, I mean, they could still do that, and it's like, well, this is in this universe, this is in that universe.
Well, and also thinking, I mean, you can't just say split, whatever BotCon did and whatever Hasbro does, because they kind of intertwine all this stuff together with IDW and everything else. So
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying like just BotCon. I'm saying just like the whole idea of an extended literature universe, like anything in printed media. Because Disney did that, where the movies were their own continuity.
Yeah, with the legends.
But then they just got rid of all of like a whole library worth of novels. They were just like, no, fuck that. None of that is canon anymore.
Well, what about the New 52? What about when Marvel reboots? I mean, they do that stuff. It happens.
Transformers, like, oddly enough, has just been able to handle it cleaner because there was a fan club around for a little over a decade to tie it together when and where they could, with the split universes and multiverses.
Also remember, you're talking about different creative teams also.
Right.
Marvel,
Absolutely.
DC, and Hasbro, they're different creative, and different,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I'm not going to say outlooks, but different ends, if that makes any sense. They have different ends to what they're doing. So, redoing everything for them made more sense, whereas for us, it was more along the lines of trying to integrate everything into multiverse. And it just made it made it flow better. And that doesn't mean that they couldn't change it. Of course not. Of course they could. They could change it anytime they want. It's their brand.
What about an idea of a completely new cast that visits between all these multiverses?
I always liked that idea. That was essentially the first 5 years of Club Story with the Nexus Prime team.
Correct.
That's what they did. They hop between all these universes and
just
found
like
each other
going between the G1 Beast Wars and then Armada and then.
So you're saying pretty much the same thing, but just with a different group of people.
Different creative team.
Yeah.
Why not?
I mean, ultimately, like, I'm down. Like, as long as the story's good, as far as continuity placement and whatever, those are things I can always look through and like, okay, this takes place here and there's that and that's done. This is a different thing and like that's that. But as long as the story is good, that's really where my beginning and end of it is. I don't want.
I 100% agree with that. I mean, if it makes sense, if it flows, then why not? And also, if it not only does it make sense, but is it actually a good story? Was it worth doing? Was it worth reading?
Right.
I mean, some of these guys, even you get someone that's written for Spider-Man for 20 years. The story's going to get bland. You got to freshen it up with something.
I would like a Garth Ennis Beast Wars Wreckers story.
There you go. Something fresh.
Yeah. Jed in the comments said Beast Wars comic and Thundercats Roar art. and I'm gonna have to ask people bully Jet out of the chat now. So,
Oh God, yeah, please get the fuck out of here. No, do it in 2011 Thundercat style. Then we're talking.
That was on Facebook. I saw that.
dude, that one. Oh, that was such a good series.
I'm gonna have to find it and rewatch it again because that's
It ended before its time, man. Cartoon Network did that one dirty. So, but anyways, everyone have a chance to speak on this. I know we lost Mike and Tyler dropped in and out, but
what I'm interested to see. What I'm interested to see is if we're going to see any toilers.
I don't know, man. Like they're talking about this comic before they're talking about before we gotten anywhere to toys. Like I'm still not holding my breath for a toy line. You know, like I know there's the rumor for the Cheetor and all that, but
sometimes it has to do with the success of the comic too. Well, yeah. I'm sorry. Almost all the time it has to do with the success of the comic. So, you know, it just depends on how well it's taken and received, I guess.
Kabar asks, so you guys really want them to not touch the old characters? That just seems really odd. Like, why not? Just because there are other toys with no fiction, characters like Inferno or Goldmine. I'm not necessarily saying that. I don't want someone else's creative spin on a character that's already established. Like,
yeah, that's where I'm at too.
You can,
this is an idea. You know, this is a perfect opportunity to bring in those back characters that didn't get in.
Right. Make my Razor Beasts without the legs worth 3 times as much as they are now.
How many times have we seen it where a character is rebooted and it's not that it's nothing like how it was previously established, but it's a far cry from the character you used to love, which then almost tarnishes your, you know what I mean? Almost tarnishes your memory of how much you love that character.
Alternatively, we saw characters maybe not necessarily rebooted, but definitely given a new life and are now fan favorites that nobody ever looked at all to begin with, like in More Than Meets the Eye. Like now, you know, with whenever that book came out, people started to give a crap about Swerve and Tailgate and Brainstorm, you know, the Western market, right? Like that didn't have Whirl, Skids, like all these nobody characters that or maybe, you know, showed up, shoot their gun, said their name, transformed, and hit the road. Like now, these are all fan favorite characters, or even taking characters that people universally hated, like Rodimus, and making him like he's still that brash, young. He's still true to his character, but now he's like this dude's awesome. This is a cool ass dude.
Or characters that you like and now start to hate, like Magnus and Prowl. I
like Magnus way more because of IDW, but it made me like I definitely like. I'm just, man, Prowl's a dick, and you know it's IDW made him that way. Yeah, Getaway again. Someone who didn't. So there's there's all this potential that, I mean, they can still take known characters and that are already established and improve upon them.
But what you're saying there is kind of contradictory, because you're using the G1 characters, like you said, they show up, they say their name, they're blah blah, transform, and they're gone, forgotten about, and they take those characters and make them something, right? And that's pretty much the equivalent of taking a no-name character like Cyber Shark or Polar Claw or fucking Barbarian. Well, I guess that's a bad example. You know what I mean?
But in the instance
of something. But if you take Dinobot and recharacterize him, that's what I'm worried for. Because when I think Dinobot, I think Scott McNeil. When I think Rat Trap, I think Scott McNeil. You know what I mean? When I think Primal, I think Gary Chalk, which is why the Ron Perlman Primal never landed.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree with
that. When I think Megatron, I think David K. So you're going to give me all these new guys and recharacterize them and give them different personality. And it's going to happen. Like, if they do that, there's no, it's very rare for companies to stay, especially like Hasbro, to stay true to the previous established character of a character, because they're always looking to modernize for a younger audience. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying, as far as Beast Wars is concerned, I don't want my old characters that I know and love to be recharacterized. That's the exact problem that the G1 fans had with Prime in the Bayverse, because it was Prime, but it wasn't the Prime. It was a recharacterization of him. It was a completely far cry from the original Prime.
Exactly.
I also like to think that I can ignore it if they do that. Like if they do it, I can just not like it and not buy it. You know, like that's
Right,
that's where
you want it to be successful, right?
Of course I do, but you know, hopefully enough other people like it to where it is still successful, and I still reap the toy rewards from that. But again, I think that, you know, just to kind of go back, like characters that were already well liked, I felt from the G1 era, like Ultra Magnus and Hot Rod, and particularly Megatron. I think what IDW did with those three characters in their later years of the old continuity was like simply magical. Like it was just it was insanely awesome how they were characterized in that book, my opinion. Some folks did or didn't like it. Some folks had an issue with Megatron becoming an Autobot. I thought it was genius. Like you did the thing that couldn't be done. You know, you made Megatron see the other side of the coin and live the other side of the coin and be about the other side of the coin. You know, so if it evolves the character and it didn't feel forced, you know, it felt natural. That's a real important thing. Like you can evolve a character's characteristics and personality, but it's got to be natural. You know, it's got to feel natural. It's got to be eased in. Delirium also asked, here is a question. Do you need a new toy line to go with the comic if it's good? Yeah. If I love the comic, I'm going to need the toys.
100%.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I don't know necessarily like needing one or two different things, but I would definitely want it. You know what I mean? Because if I enjoy the comics, I'm going to want a physical representation on a shelf, which is why I have the entire 96 to 99 line of the original Beast Wars stuff and very, very few other Transformers. So
big flex. Yeah, but if I don't enjoy the comic, because like I mildly enjoy the current IDW Transformers, the bold new era.
I think you mispronounced bland.
Yeah, I did. But I don't enjoy it enough to want to go after and get all those toys that I see in it. You know, like.
I mean, it could be because it's the start of a reboot, which is just the same shit. It's not doing. I think the problem with
it's not, to be fair. It's not the same. It's not the same as. Yeah, any of the other.
I'm not saying it's just. I'm not saying it's as a direct comparison. It's the same. I'm saying it's the same technique that we've seen over and over again, where you stop one thing and then reboot it. So like we've already seen these origins. We've already seen the start. We've seen the start 100 times because these are the same characters that get rebooted over and over again, and it just hasn't gotten juicy. And this is coming off the heels of people who were. They're coming off the heels of a franchise in IDW's. Sorry,
categories with you.
You just screwed me up. But like the original IDW run with like the DJD and all that is coming off the heels of something that people were very largely invested in, and the new modern comics are being maybe unconsciously compared to that, and you know they don't want to start over. They don't want to reinvest into the same telling in a different way, you know?
That's fair.
So Candace Brett says quiet, Cheetor.
Candace, Brett, y'all got anything y'all wanted to add to this?
Nope.
Crickets.
Right.
Beast Wars.
Jesus, that response was like Daltinian's TF's comment section.
Yeesh.
Shots fired.
I don't know. You gonna take that laying down?
Hey man, maybe I wouldn't be so salty if y'all get on Xbox every now and again.
That's fair. Well, I'm starting work back, so
I'm off today, tomorrow, so
this okay.
Be on the weekends. All right. Well, Brett, where can people find you at?
Mega Must Make a Toy Fan on Facebook.
All right. Dalton, where can people find you at?
Everywhere at Dalton HTS, YouTube, Dalton95.
Tyler?
Your baby mama's DMs.
All right. And Candace.
Secluded in my home drawing Beast Wars. Beast Wars.
All right.
Beast Wars.
And as always, you can find me everywhere at The Real Robert D. But before you get out of here, check out some cool shows on the Cool Table Network, such as Shattercast, Uncut, Into the Realm, Toy Detox, Figga Bangin, Beers of Ultra 40K, Plastic Next, Breaking the Mold, Nerds, Radio Fresh Communications, Building Up to a Early Challenge, Match, Shitpiece Theater, and a few honorable mentions such as Nerds Have Spoken, Total Package, Blackout Shout, All Queued Up, Off the Run, Cybercast, and that'll be it. We'll see y'all next week.
See ya!
Stay safe.
Hang on, guys. I gotta take this phone call.